All right, all right, all right. We are live on AfroSurgeRadio.com, bringing you the latest. Hope everybody is doing fine. All right, all right. Yes, yes, yes. It's another wonderful day. I want to welcome everybody listening on AfroSurge Radio. Watch us on YouTube on Afro-American TV. We're about to get today's show started. My name is Marlon Solomon. I'll be your host today, and welcome to the Village Square, your community podcast for Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. Live on AfroSurge, as I said. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, Afro-American TV. Hit us up on all your local social medias on Afro-American One. I want to thank everybody for coming in today. You know how we do every Wednesday, getting you into work, over the hump, early in the morning, giving you what you need to know for the week. All right, all right, all right. So the state of today's village this week is, I think we are weary. Things are getting better on the coronavirus front. I say relatively better, but they're not, we're still way above what we were doing in the summer. So that's the way we have to look at it. We can't look at it that, oh, we're doing so great because of now we are having only 3,000 deaths. Maybe it'll go down to 2,000 deaths. That is a lot of death. It's just that it's not as bad as it was when we were going through 4,000 a day deaths. So I think we're weary, and I think the village is in a state of flux where we're trying to figure out, like, we want to get back to work. We have to get back to work. The economic toll that this pandemic has taken on all of us has been extremely difficult. Not to mention staying at home, socially distancing. I know myself, I really want to, it's really getting, I really want to get antsy. And as summer comes, people are going to be even more antsy because it's like we have cabin fever now for a whole year. Imagine that. I think we are weary on a lot of different levels. Even what's going on in politics. While we feel like there's some hope on the way, with the new Biden administration that's supposed to help us out and a lot of different things going on, it feels like, these are the dog days. We've got to now dig deeper, strengthen our resolve, become more resilient, stay vigilant, because considering that there might be some issues coming on down the road in regards to the variants, it is important that all of us remember that it's time for us to just dig deeper and make it through. If we push through, at the end of the tunnel, we will see a brighter day. All right, that's my take. Let's start the show. So, of course, we start off with our coronavirus watch. My brothers and sisters, it's still going on. We now have a total of 468,207 deaths, as opposed to last week when we had 446,885. So that's about what? A little bit less than 22,000, about 22,000 people died since the last time we had this discussion. And it's, it is what it is. It's very, very unfortunate. That's averaging 3,000 people a day, because 3 times 7 is 21,000. We're at 22,000 since last week. And these are people, these are brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and you name it, children and grandchildren, and to somebody. These are people's loved ones. And during this time, I know it is easy for us to look at all these numbers and just say, oh my, they're just numbers. But you know what? I have a few people in my family, a few loved ones in my family that are, that are part of these numbers that we keep on talking about. And it's painful because they would have been okay. They just got sick, and within the week, 2-3 weeks, they're dead. That is what happens. It's not like they were supposed to die. So anyway, we ask God to look over their souls. If you don't believe in that, that's, then however you believe the dead are handled, I just pray that their memories will be a blessing to you and me. So, the numbers for Massachusetts, they're actually improving in the cases, but the deaths went up significantly, about maybe 40% higher. So we had 1,593 cases this yesterday, as opposed to 2,239 of last week. So it went down significantly by 600, but the deaths went up. We had 45 last week. We now have 70 this week. That we all know from all our experience of with COVID-19, that the cases are high, then the hospitalizations got high, and then the deaths are high. So right now we're coming down the slope. So right now, while the cases are lowering, the hospitalizations also overall are lowering, but we haven't gotten to where the deaths start to lower. But this is a big spike. 70 is, we've really been on 50, 40 something, 42. I keep all my records, 44. We've been in the 40s for the past months. It was a lot of months, actually. That's what our death toll generally is. And now to see 70 yesterday, I was surprised. Texas doing much better, much better. They were averaging about 20,000 cases, over 20,000 cases all, like 2-3 weeks ago. Now they're down to 13,000 cases, 245, which is good for them. But their deaths came down from 355 last week to 318 this week. So, overall, we're losing. Yesterday, we lost 3,167 people. The world lost 15,400, which that 15,000 is a big spike. Now, this is not, of course, these are a bit anecdotal, but for the USA to be going down and the rest of the world to take a significant, the whole world last week lost 11,986 people, and in one day. So now to lose 15,400 in one day, that's like a third, increasing by 30%. That is a pretty big, or at least 25% or something like that. That's a pretty big jump. I wonder if that has to do with the variants, because the variants are more popular outside of America than within America. So as usual, with all the things that's going on, it's getting relatively better, meaning that it's better than a month ago, but it's still way worse than what it was in the summer or when we started the lockdowns. So in the end of the day, like the NFL, right? let me give you an example of what happened with the NFL. So the NFL just, finished their season. Big up Tom Brady for winning the Super Bowl. And because of, everybody was looking at the Super Bowl and looking at the NFL and saying, congratulations for finishing your season, because obviously we all know that it was a very difficult season, games getting postponed, this and that and the other. But it started getting better towards the end with the COVID protocols. And so they interviewed the man who was who was in charge of the COVID-19 protocols for the NFL. And he said, yes, that there's been no vaccinations, but he said in the end of the day that even though they haven't been vaccinated, what really helped them wasn't the testing. Because if you've already got it, the testing is just going to, it helps you identify some things. Don't get me wrong, it's helpful. It wasn't they don't have vaccinations. Even the contact tracing, it helps. But he said that the main issue, the main rules, is just wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, stay away from indoor crowds. That's that's our main tool. We've heard it so much. This is why I say that the village is weary. We are weary because it's just like we've heard that so many times. And guess what? We are social animals. We want to be around people. We want to shake people's hands. We want to give them hugs. And it's tough. And it plays on our mental health, it plays on our physical health, it plays on everything. So we've got to take our health in overall very seriously. Got to stay fit, exercise, mental health, and have a healthy diet. Right? Right? Stay fit, exercise. Right? Let us, find ways to be happy, get those endorphins going. Let's get, then we wash our hands all the time. Right? Keep the sanitizer in your heart, in your car, in your house. Right? Don't make sanitizer should be everywhere. Okay? Right? And one of the things that I teach is the action plan. Make an action plan for your COVID-19. In case you get COVID-19, to prevent COVID-19, just make a plan. Don't sit there and be walking around, because imagine if you do get COVID-19. Do you know that you will not be able to go to the pharmacy to get your medicine because they'll look at the medicine and say, this medicine is for somebody COVID-19. Do you have COVID-19? You'll be spreading the virus. So go and get your medicine. Who's going to get your medicine? Who's going to get your groceries? All the things you need, because you can't go to the store. Otherwise, you'll be infecting others. Look up that's what I did. Look up some, like the Stop and Shop. You can order online, right? These are the things that you have to start thinking of. So in case you get COVID-19, you'll know what to do. When your children are hungry, that's when you'll go out and spread the virus, because you'll have to go get them food, or you'll have, or get yourself food. So the contact tracing is important as well. Remember, okay, you have to know if you get sick, if you start feeling symptoms, you have to remember everybody you've been around in the prior 3 days before your sickness, and your infectious period lasts between 10 and 14 days. So between that 10 and 14 days, you've got to stay away from people. Right? Simple as that. Then get vaccinated. Of course, when the vaccination is available to you, I know you're hearing a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of hesitancy. In fact, I don't like to use the word hesitancy. There's a lot of fear, right? This fear can come from racial, prejudice, because people have been racist, and they've been taking advantage of Black people, not even just in the medical facilities, in policing and, amenities and job and, at everything. So I understand if that's your issue, I get it. But I need you to understand that there's a lot of misinformation out there that this vaccine is safe. All right. All the data is suggesting it's safe. They've done, this is not the first type of this vaccine. They've been working on this vaccine for 10 years plus. So it's not like the type of vaccine, it's nothing new under the sun. All they did was add a different ingredient. So they made the vanilla muffin into chocolate muffin. So because you haven't had chocolate muffin before, does that mean that, oh no, I don't have chocolate muffin because of it's a vanilla muffin? I'm used to. We're doing this so our hospitals were not get filled up, and we're very happy. We're very, very happy that the hospitalizations are going down, but even if one person dies, it's too much. So let us not lose fact of that, because this is what the weariness is about. Like, oh well, now it's only 1,500. Where that's not that bad. 1,500 people in the beginning was terrible, but we've gotten used to it. So this message is brought to you by the Boston Public Health Commission. So please, check them out. They've got a lot of great resources on their website. But overall, these are the things that are keeping people safe. So let us make sure we're still doing those things, right? We're doing a better job, right? Things are getting better. The hospitalizations are down. The deaths are down. Or no, they're still high, but they're coming down. They're down 4,000, but they're coming down. They will continue to go down. Right? Right now we're at the lowest level of infections and hospitalizations since November. So basically, how you felt in November, we're supposed to be feeling that way now. Not feeling, oh well, it's not as bad as December. We've got to be very, very careful. And why is this? Because there may be some complications coming down the road. There's what we call variants, and for those who don't know, variants are mutations. It means that the coronavirus has changed, because every time it infects a new person. So every time the virus jumps from one person to another person, the virus has an opportunity to change. Once it changes, it's going to change for the better, right? For itself anyway, right? It's going to get more deadlier, or it's going to be able to spread faster. From what I heard on the news, the reports the data suggests that the spike proteins, those are those little red, when you see the picture of the coronavirus, those little red things that they call the crown, those spike proteins are kind of like they get stickier apparently. Like, so they bond tighter to your cells, right? That's what the studies are saying, right? This makes it, I guess, stick faster or stick more, so it's more infectious and you get more severe illness. And of course, they are the different variants from that originate in different parts of the world. I don't want to call it UK variants, but there is a new variant that was first noticed in the UK. There's one that was in Brazil. There's one that was first located in South Africa. The one in South Africa seems to be the most troublesome. Apparently in South Africa this past week, they were rolling out the vaccine, the AstraZeneca, and they have stopped rolling out the vaccine. I don't know why. But, well, what they're saying is that the vaccine is not effective on their variants that they have. Now, what I think, this is why I say I don't know why. And I don't have any evidence or anything behind this, but I'm kind of curious. Like, why would you make that? Is it even 30% or 40% efficacious? Which means, does it work at least for 40% of the people? And maybe just reduces severe illness for, maybe because some of the other vaccines, while they'll be very good at stopping illness in 60% of the people, for example, it can still reduce severe illness in 85% of the people, for example, right? That's just an example. It's not, don't quote me exactly, but there are that concept is what we, has been proven to be somewhat true. So these variants, and apparently in America, soon the variants, because they spread faster, they're quicker, they're causing more severe illness. These variants will be the dominant strain in the United States of America, which means that if we, they say stay 6 feet apart. It's actually, it should be long, it should be farther than 6 feet apart. It all depends on the ventilation. But if you have a variant, you may even have to stay 12 feet apart and be in there less, because like I said, the virus are more sticky. They're sticking to you more. So we're in a race, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. We're in a race against the variants. It's the vaccine versus the variants. V versus V. And we are trying to vaccinate as many people as possible to try to get up to 70 or 80%, whatever they believe herd immunity is. We're trying to vaccinate and get ourselves up to that level before the variants take over. Now, they've changed their tone, because I really disagreed with the way they were advertising the variants. You see, there's this balance that the Public Health Commission, what they do, they try to make a balance between scaring the bejesus out of you, scaring you, and telling you the information. So when they started talking of the variants, they were saying, oh, it's not more deadly pound for pound, meaning if you have one coronavirus versus another coronavirus of the variants, they will kill. They did not think that one killed more people than the other. Okay. And that was from the data they had at the time, that was technically accurate. Okay. Although since then, data is suggesting that yes, these variants are indeed more deadly. But the reason why I disagreed with the way they talked about it, because they kept on saying things like they were not putting into account that spreading faster makes the virus more deadly, and they were not stressing that point. Now they're talking a little bit more like that, because it is actually, and I've been looking for the graphic. I can't find the graphic, but I did see it on CNN, and the graphic said basically something like this: if the virus itself, the actual coronavirus, remember I said pound for pound, right? One coronavirus versus another coronavirus. If the coronavirus is 1.5, that's 1.5 times more deadly, then you're going to kill basically 1.5 times more people. But if the coronavirus it spreads 1.5 times faster than the ordinary coronavirus, then you're going to kill about 11 and plus people, because just the spreading faster is actually more deadly than the actual virus being a little more deadly. So that was not accurate. But like I said, they don't want to scare you. I get it. There is a balance to be had, right? Like when you have you have young children and there's some very big information, you don't really want them, you don't think maybe they can handle all of it. So you give them a little bit by little bit. So the vaccine rollout, that's what we're all trying to see now. How are we doing in this race? Now, the new administration has improved. Even some would say like like double almost what they were doing before. They're gunning for to vaccinate 1.5 million Americans every day. Now, that is much better than 800,000 or whatever it was before they came in, but it's still not enough. Currently, in the United States, we have vaccinated. Okay, now there's two numbers that I want to give you. The first number is 10% of the people in America have had their first dose, which means because of the 3 to 4 week, or some can even say up to 6 weeks um, time that needs to pass between the first dose and the second dose, which means that it won't be until the beginning of March that these 10% will be fully vaccinated. Right? So, and currently we have 3% of the whole American population have had their 2 doses. So there's only 3% that are done. 3%. 1, 2, 3. There's 97 more percent of people out there. And we're just trying to get, like I said, let's say they're trying to get to 80% or what, let's say 80%. We are nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. This is a literal logistical nightmare to get all these vaccines rolled out to all the people that need to be rolled. They're mobilizing the army. You may see some like army situations out there, like they mobilized FEMA. The good thing is that the full weight of the federal government is now being put into, or put into play. So let us see. I do think that maybe by March, let's see where they are. They could be up to 2 million people every day. And one of the main issues now isn't even, do you have all, the army and all the people and all it's not that. There's actually just not enough supply, because how much, the companies out there trying to make the vaccine the best way they know how. Okay. And, let us zoom out, because many of us in the African diaspora, we have family members that live in Africa or South America or in the Caribbean, much poorer countries, Asia. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be tough because, for instance, apparently Ghana is trying to get about 17 million doses, and they'll be able to cover most of their people, and they have the money and they're going to spend it. They're going to get the vaccine. Nigeria, corrupt. They're only trying to, with the 200 million people, they're trying to get 100,000 vaccines. That's what they're working on. That makes no sense. Then they're talking about producing it in their country, producing the vaccine in the country. Long term, that's good. But what are you going to do short term? So we're just going to be dying. And what the problem is, and this is what I want everybody to know, because I'm just talking about my country. I don't know what's going on in other countries across the third world. But the longer we wait, the more chances that variants will appear. Better, faster, like every year there's iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, iPhone 4. The coronavirus is also mutating and getting more deadlier and more stickier and more spreading faster. Right? And who knows? The chances are, I've talked to some doctors, and the bottom line, there is a chance, we don't know whether there's a big chance or a small chance, but there is a chance that there could be this super coronavirus that comes out that is faster, quicker, and evades all the vaccines. And it's gonna, and what my fear is, because of these poor countries don't have the vaccinations, they'll just be transmitting, infecting. You can even get reinfected. You have coronavirus, you can get reinfected with another coronavirus. Believe me, I just recovered from coronavirus. You do not want to have it. It's not a joke. All right. I'm relatively healthy, but I was down. It is debilitating. I can imagine being an elderly person with that kind of weakness. So please, just try and get vaccinated, right? But see, I do understand, which is why the most important thing: wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, and take it seriously. If you, I know, like I want my children to go to school. I really hope that they will be able to go to school. But in the end of the day, I'm like, no, it's not time, because we don't know what's going on with the variants. And that's what happened. In Chicago, there was this big battle between the city of Chicago and the teachers' unions. They just resolved it, so schools could start reopening as of tomorrow. But and what the the city of Chicago was saying, that look, if you do all these things that we're going to do, you're going to be safe. But the teachers also, remember, dealing with misinformation, people are dying in the community. There's like, look, we need to get vaccinated. So they've decided that they're going to go back, but I believe they bumped up the teachers to a higher priority, and they should be a higher priority. So let them get vaccinated so that the children can go back to school, right? I think that makes sense. So, we are making headway. This is all new, and it's really scary to a lot of people. I get it, right? But it's really the economic and political pressures that are causing a lot of our issues, because there's no money, and also the incompetence of the last administration. So remember, we're not starting with coronavirus has a big lead. He has been running and doing what he needed to do. So so we're trying to catch up. There's a lot of misinformation out there. People are already scared and seeing people dying, but it didn't have to get this way, and we could have had our kids in school earlier. But anyway, let's not cry over spilled milk. But I also think that it's premature to start their restrictions are being lifted. Oh, you can go on. It's giving this false sense of safety, because, like I said, we're only doing as good as we're doing in November, when the cases were going up. We're not doing like we're doing. We haven't even gotten nowhere near to when we were like in the summer of last year. So we're still in deep doo-doo. We're still in deep trouble. Right? But the political pressure, the economic pressures, people want to make money. Like, what can we do? That's what's forcing it. So now they want to restrict it. And if the variants come out, guess what? We'll be shut down again. So anyway, we have to just stay prayerful. Because like I said, we're supposed to be on lockdown and bring that number all the way down, then start reopening. Right now, we're reopening and we still have the coronavirus running rampant. We need to be careful. On the economic front, for the coronavirus, the moratorium is still in, like I said, to the end of the 31st. Turn in your CDC documents if you don't know anything about this. We're having next week, Monday, the 15th, we're having a lecture about the financial aspect to the coronavirus. So please go to Eventbrite, check us out. A new thing, I heard it new, that they're trying to introduce is the Biden administration is introducing a 3,600 child tax credit for child from birth to 6 years old, and also a 3,000 tax credit from a child from 6 years old to 17. So that's going to help the economic situation. So anyway, So please, we're done with our coronavirus section, but we're still asking you: stay fit, exercise, mental health, healthy diet, wash your hands, wear your mask, socially distance, stay especially away from indoor crowds, poor ventilate ventilated indoor areas. Restaurants, eating is the number one. You can't wear a mask when you eat. You're talking, you're opening your mouth, you're eating. The virus is spreading wildly. Contact trace, right? Understand what contact tracing is. Get an action plan for when if you get sick, right? You have an infectious period that lasts from 10 to 14 days. You have to stay away from people, right? Remember your contacts, especially for the 3 days prior, because once if you get symptoms, you've probably been infectious for 3 days, right? Then you can count from there. Okay, look, I have another week or I have another 10 days, and then I'll be out of the infectious period. So that's kind of what you got to do. And finally, like I said, get vaccinated, do your flu shot. Do whatever you can, my people, to stay safe, right? We don't want to get our hospitals filled up because that's when the real trouble starts. Luckily, we're moving away from that. But coronavirus, my brothers and sisters, is here to stay. All right. That is what we have. There's never going to be anywhere in the next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion, that there's not going to be any, oh, we're back to normal, because there will always be COVID-19 in the poor countries that may get more severe variants that will infect us. So please, 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 let's start getting into our bloodstream literally now. So let's start getting this mindset around social distancing now. All right. So on to our current affairs section of the Village Square Show. I want to thank Afro Surge Radio, and I'll remind everybody to subscribe on YouTube at Afro American TV. This podcast is brought to you by the Boston Public Health Commission. And the Boston Public Health Commission has funded us, and we are providing free consultation services for community members that want to fight COVID-19 within their communities, right? We give consultations. We can help develop programs for you, including webinars. We talk about contact tracing. We talk about vaccination. We talk about, even like I said, the financial issues. So we're using our platform to reach the community. So if you need any assistance, please give us email us at info@afroamerican1.org. Check out our resource hub. That's www.afroamerican1.org/COVID-19. All right. So, going on our current affairs section, guess what? No more Aunt Jemima. So if you're not familiar with this story, back after the George Floyd incident, there was a racial reckoning. They started looking at a lot of things that were racially charged, and some names came down. While completely symbolic, it is not totally, because the media and the imagery of African Americans as being second-class citizens also is part of it. You see, a lot of the part of racism is just convincing the oppressed that they are worthy of being oppressed. And this Aunt Jemima figure came out of a period of American history where there was a lot of negative artwork and portrayals of Black people as savages, rapists. You get it. So they changed the name today. They announced that the new name of Aunt Jemima syrup is the Pearl Milling Company, which apparently has some historical significance, because that is where they attribute the first making of the pancake. I guess that was the name of the factory that made the first pancake mix, was the Pearl Milling Company. So at least, it is progress. Let that that woman never be shown, be put in the dustbin in the trash of history. So, all right, what's going on in Washington, D.C.? Oh, you guessed it. The second impeachment started in earnest yesterday. While Biden administration is really trying to focus and take the attention away, coming up with a lot of political, like there's a town hall announcing certain things to kind of keep the momentum of the impeachment, which is very savvy. I mean, no, the momentum of the stimulus is $1.9 trillion stimulus package, the American Rescue Package, trying to keep that in the news because this impeachment is sucking up all the oxygen. So yesterday, the impeachment proceedings started in Washington, D.C., the House managers versus Trump's team. And boy, did the House managers just shine. Their presentation, delivering all the facts, started out with this very, 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 very riveting 13-minute video detailing all the timeline of everything that happened. In fact, I can't wait to see what happens again today. But yesterday they met to discuss and debate the constitutionality of impeaching a former president. Okay, so the whole idea is that because he's no longer a president, then they're saying it's not constitutional. However, from the historical record, it is more than constitutional because it has been done numerous times in different ways. And it's just, you know what? You can't trust the people who just gave you a big election lie that ended up in an insurrection. Okay? They're just liars. And it was so evident. You could see, oh my God. I was watching the Trump team as they were delivering their message, and I kept on trying to listen, what are they going to say? And I kept on listening and when is the points going to come? And I realized there were no points. This guy was just rambling on and on and on, talking about the record player. You know what record players are? You think you put the pin on the record? I'm like, very surprising. I believe I have a little more constitutional knowledge than they did. Like one of the CNN people said, they could have just read somebody else's article and been more prepared because they were right before, the debate. Of course, all the political articles are coming out and all the experts are giving their opinion prior to the debate in the Senate chamber. So they could have just read that and they'd have been done better than what they did yesterday. Complete rubbish. But apparently, Trump's real team quit about a week ago. They've only had a week to prepare, and it was obvious. But like they said, even for a novice lawyer, you should be able to do a little better than that. So, it's just nobody wants to represent the former president because he's trash. So in the long run, six senators changed, voted with the Democrats. It was the big deal out of this vote. Well, we knew that they were going to get the vote, but they thought it was going to be 55 to 45. But one more Republican changed his mind because of what he said was that the House manager's presentation was so much better and so clear, and the Republican, the Trump's team just was so trash. And the funny thing was that he said something. I mean, do you realize that the Trump team actually said that we had to change what we did because what the House managers did was so fantastic. I'm like, even if you believe that, why did you say that? It didn't make any sense. So anyway, the House managers, they won. So it was deemed constitutional. The Republican that changed his mind, he said that it was because of the poor performance of Trump's team. But I think that that's so, it's still so disingenuous. Because let me tell you what, if you listen to what the House manager said, they were not arguing just like facts and, precedents, what has happened before, the history, the Constitution, and all the other things. They was heartfelt. They were arguing like this is like life and death, especially the lead prosecutor whose son died on January 5th, I think. So he had his whole family in the Capitol building who was giving his personal accounts and how he felt bad. His children were saying they don't want to come back to the Capitol. He broke down. You felt the heart. How can such truth fall on these political hacks and they don't even care? How can the truth and the and the feeling, people died in the Capitol building and you're still there arguing some political thing? What you're doing is deadly. Keeping up the lie. The lie is the sin. Lying is what killed those people. What's his name? Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch. He was on CNN and he said that, but for Donald Trump, those deaths would not have happened. And he said the way he put it was so, I love he's such a great communicator. He said that, you see, if Donald Trump had accepted the free and fair election, greeted Biden, invited Biden into the White House, not, I just, went, hey, I lost. Nothing would have happened. But it was because he refused to accept it because he refused to accept it, that's why people died. Now, because there's something I believe is missing. You have to understand, while we're going through one impeachment because of the election lie, you have to understand that the election lie has mutated like the coronavirus. The first impeachment was about this election too. Remember, because he was trying to get Ukraine to come up with another lie to discredit his Joe Biden before even the primaries. So if you really want to cut it and you really want to say the truth, you have to understand the election lie started in like 2017. 2018. This guy has been lying and lying, and he was looking how he was going to lie and lie and lie. And it went through the first impeachment. Then he now went through the second impeachment. And he got what he wanted. He goes, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. He might have created Joe Biden because just the fact that I know you're so scared of this man that you have to cheat makes me know this man is your biggest threat. And he was right because Biden beat him in the election. All right. And so, when I look at this thing and how toxic it is, this man is just simply toxic. And he's intoxicated the whole GOP. He is so toxic that he's fuming, apparently, right now, angry at his lawyers. Dude, you don't pay your lawyers. You are lying. They're suing everybody for defamation. They sue Fox News. Fox News dropped Lou Dobbs. Their number one program. Fox News dropped their number one program with the number one anchor because of the suit filed by the voting machine. The people who make the voting machine, because remember they were saying, oh, the voting machines were changing ballots and all this other stuff. There was a lie. And they are now suing Fox News for $2.something billion. All the lawyers are running. I mean, you're so toxic, you can't even get a good lawyer. And the GOP is holding on to this man because, and I tell you guys every week what the problem is. I have to wrap up. So it is very simple. Okay. The white working class, poorly educated group have always been the majority in this country. They are now becoming a minority. And they've always used racism and they've used every everything in the book to flatten the curve and delay the progress of people of color. And now is their time of reckoning. And they have declared civil war, and they're willing to be authoritarian and damn the Constitution in order to maintain power. And that is what's going on. But the good thing is that what that means is that the good, they're still good Republicans, although they're a vast majority, who they're good, they're still good, they're you know, there's still good Republicans that are breaking away from them. So they can't win because they're already turning the minority, and now they're turning off the sensible Republicans that are just breaking away. And the Republican Party is just going to be there by itself, and it's going to die a slow and painful death. But these guys are not going quietly, as you can see. I always tell people, these group of people are deadly. They have a history of deadly behavior. They kill people, mobs. Oh, please, mobs. You go and read the university, Ole Miss University, and some of the mobs that were fought there. Charlottesville, another example. Black Wall Street, another. Please, white mobs is what is there is part of their heritage. Lynching and killing of Black people is part of their heritage. So this insurrection is just part of it's part of their heritage. It's what they do when they get mad. And if they have declared civil war on us, we've got to make sure we're prepared. We're not trying to fight anybody and like there's no war. I'm not trying to kill anybody. Nobody's trying to kill anybody here. But we are going to have to defend ourselves and make sure that the United States of America remains strong and goes after these people, and we have to isolate them and make sure that they're just on their own. But the fight has just begun. So I want to thank everybody. This is Village Square. Okay, we got a few more minutes, so I'm going to go into my talk about my Boston sports. Well, first of all, I want to just give a shout out to the GOAT, Brady, who annihilated Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes better go and learn his lesson on, because John Brady got his seventh Super Bowl ring, won more than any other franchise. Like there's no franchise that has that many. He has more than any other franchise. He passed Michael Jordan in titles. So John Brady is the GOAT of GOATs. And it was a massive performance. The defense that they played, Tampa Bay played, was awesome. Now I know they said, well, that's not Boston sports. Tom Brady is Boston sports. Doesn't matter where he plays. I was rooting for Tom Brady just because how am I going to not root for Tom Brady? And then there was Gronk, who got the two touchdowns. Then there was even Antonio Brown. It was like a New England reunion. So it is what it is. All right. My Celtics, they're not doing so good. I've heard that Danny Ainge is trying to make some severe moves because we definitely need depth. We definitely need help. So let's see what he has. Kemba is just stinking up the joint. They said he's mental. I know that that's true. It is sometimes people get into a fun, but you got to get out of it because he is killing us. Yesterday it was like 1 or 2 for 8 or 9 or 10. Who knows? It was just terrible. Jaylen Brown was injured. He came back, dropped 32, fantastic shooting. They were roughing up. They've got the secret. And I'm thankful somebody finally got it, because now hopefully they're going to force Jason Tatum. If you watch Jason Tatum is soft. He's always fading away. He's always fading. Almost like sometimes he's wide open. He fades away. He's fading away. And the difference between him and Jaylen Brown is north-south, going directly to the basket. You're going to foul him. He's going to go strong to the basket. He's not shying away from contact. Tatum shies away from contact. And yesterday, the Utah Jazz roughed them up. They beat them 120. So I don't even know what. It wasn't even worth me saying it. Right? And that is what is the problem with, but mostly it's Kemba, and our defense sucks. And I also want to start pointing out Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens, my advice to you, Stop with all these experimental lineups. Get people their constant minutes. Let them feel confident that if they don't mess up, you're going to yank them out. Give them the rotation, and let's just, for good or bad, sometimes, hey, not everybody's going to have bad, but give them a chance to make up their mistake. Because all this interchangeable, just pick 9 guys, maybe 10, because it's, and that's it. 9 guys, 10, and those are the guys that play until you crack the rotation or somebody gets injured. Forget about it. So that's what's going on. So I think the Celtics are just one game above 500. I think they're 12 and 11. So let's see how they get moving. But we just went on a West Coast trip, and we won 2 games and lost 3. So there's a lot of work that we have to do for the Boston Celtics. Now, it's Black History Month, and you know this. So Afro-American Culture Initiative, we've been doing our webinars. It started off great. We've had a great response. So we have a bunch of webinars. We're celebrating our Black queens. It has been fantastic. Our first one, we did, Gloria gave us a nice cooking demonstration. It was awesome. Then the next one we had, Jessica, our Lives in Me winner. She did a great job, and we found out where she comes from. She did her DNA test. We got her results back. She comes from Cameroon, and she's part of the Tikar tribe. So I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful for, and grateful, and just is so, whenever we get a new person and we give them that DNA test in their life now, for African Americans that don't have that cultural connection they don't have their cultural connection to Africa. It is a huge thing. So we congratulate Jessica. Well done. She's also having her so we've started out really good, and we have a whole bunch of lineup. Michelle and Gloria are coming up tomorrow. And we have Deetra, who's going to do Inkiru, Dr. Suleiman, all these people. We still have a lot of lineup. So go to Eventbrite, get your tickets. Afro Surge Radio, get your tickets. We're having a great time. So tomorrow, like I said, we have Coping with COVID-19, Natural Solutions, Health and Wellness. Now, this is what I really like, because sometimes, when we're talking about take your vaccine, all these things, it's not the best, right? Because it scares people away. Like, there's other ways to stay healthy, right? How come you're not talking about that? I hear you. We are talking about that, right? We're having a discussion on alternate methods to boost our immune system, right? So we have this Thursday, we have this Thursday, we have this Thursday, we have Michelle, who's into fitness and spirituality, and Gloria, who's into the food preparations, and they're going to give us some tips, some alternate solutions. It's not all about getting a shot. There's stuff we got to do every day anyway to keep our health going. Then we have our Lives With Me winner. This weekend, she's coming with Lock Love, and she's going to be talking about natural hair and some of the things that she's doing. So I'm really excited about that. This is just, we want to promote our people and give them a platform to show their, all what they can do. So we're excited for this Saturday at 3 to 4 p.m. Yeah, so that will be great. Please, everything's on YouTube. Remember, subscribe at Afro American TV. Finally, on the 27th of this month, we're going to have a soft launch and a discussion panel on the Afro American Academy. It's our online school. We're going to discuss some of the things, and we're going to try to get some impact and try to see what else we can do. We're raising money. We have a Celtics. We're going to have a Celtics ticket giveaway. So a Celtic team basketball giveaway. We won a team basketball for last year. So please, if you can make it, please make it, because this is a very important, this will be a very important thing for us to get involved with. All right. So yeah, we're just about finished. So thank you very much. Please, thank you for coming to the Village Square. Please check out our COVID-19 resource hub. is at www.afroamerican1.org /COVID-19. Email us at info@afroamerican.org. Remember, we have free consultation. We can help your community leaders get the correct information out to your community. Just let us know. Building bridges in the culture in the African diaspora through education, technology, and travel. That's Afro-American Culture Initiative. So, check us out, www.afroamerican1.org, or on social media. Follow us on Eventbrite, afroamerican1.eventbrite.com. Check us out on YouTube. You know where to find us. So thank you very much. Thank you to Afro Surge Radio, and have a great rest of your week. See you next